Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nerdcast. It is Devin, broadcasting as always live from an undisclosed location in the center of Texas on a rainy, dreary, post-Thanksgiving hangover Friday evening. How's everybody doing out there? I'm doing okay. This has been a hell of a week for me. Oh, my cats are fighting. They're brawling in the bathroom. Oh, they gave up. This has been a hell of a last week or so for me. Just beset by health issues one after another, and now I'm finally starting to feel good. Knock on wood that the worst of it has passed, but I'm recovered. I've indulged on turkey to the maximum extent that I could, and got a couple of days off now, so I get to relax and just kind of enjoy an extended weekend. Finally started playing Tactics Ogre, and I'm going to be getting to that later on in the stream, getting back to my game there. I'm enjoying it. It's a strategy RPG. It's hard for me not to be satisfied for those style of games. But yeah, this has been a crazy couple of days. Ended up having to go to urgent care on Wednesday, I believe it was. Yeah, the day before Thanksgiving. I had an incredible amount of pain in my upper back and my chest. I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't do anything. Couldn't lie down, couldn't sit up, couldn't get into any comfortable position. It just got worse as the day went on. So went to urgent care, and I was there for, let's see, I guess I was there for about 9 hours. Hooked up to all kinds of machines. They were running all sorts of tests on me. Took a ton of my blood. Turns out everything's just fine. Everything came back perfectly fine. CAT scan was fine, normal. The x-rays were normal. Blood work all came back positive. The multiple EKGs were all positive. There was no signs of any kind of any kind of adverse activity. Yeah, the only weird thing I guess that their measurements and tests noted was when I first got in there, my blood pressure was through the roof. And I think that was because I was having a panic attack. Like, the pain was so intense, I didn't know what was going on. And I drove myself to the urgent care, which probably wasn't a smart idea. But, you know, yeah, my blood pressure was just sky high when they first took it. But after several hours, and once the pain began to naturally subside, my blood pressure was just back to normal. So like, yeah, it was just a weird experience, and didn't really want to spend 9 hours in a hospital bed the day before Thanksgiving. But luckily, I guess everything checks out fine. No idea, you know, why I endured such an intense level of pain from out of the middle of nowhere. Could be a nerve issue. I don't know. But it didn't stop me from enjoying my Thanksgiving. So I was able to do that. Had dinner with my parents, went to a gathering that a friend of mine was having at their house. Bunch of adorable dogs. That's all I really ask for, is adorable dogs around that I can pet and play with, hang out with, and that happened for a bit. So I was happy about that. Then went back to my other friend's house, and we made our own turkey and hung out with their dogs, adorable weenie dogs. They may have made an appearance on this show way back when, but it was a good experience nonetheless. So I'm glad we had a good day yesterday. Very chill day today. Like I said, it's gloomy, rainy, dreary. Eat Thanksgiving leftovers and nap on the couch kind of day. Didn't quite do that. I did eat Thanksgiving leftovers. I did spend some amount of time chilling on the couch, but then I also just did a whole hell of a lot of cleaning, you know, in my house afterwards. So I felt like I needed to do the work to earn being able to stream and play some games tonight. So I definitely put that work in. I do apologize for not streaming that much over the past couple weeks. It's just been between me dog sitting and driving back and forth across Austin, North Austin and South Austin, looking after dogs and my cats, and then getting sick over that weekend, and then coming back. And I did that one stream, and then the day after happened to go to the hospital for several hours. You know, just not enough time, not a lot of time to get the old stream fired up and running the way that I would have liked. But doing fine now, so hopefully I may do a stream tomorrow. I'm gonna try to, and then I was talking with Justin. He wants to get on the stream again, so we'll probably talk on Tuesday, most likely about Andor. I'm going to talk about Andor tonight as well. I'm going to share my thoughts, but I'm definitely interested in his thoughts as well. Yo, what's up, Maniacal Toaster? Hello, it's me, and I want to write a sequel to Nomeo and Juliet that opens with Nomeo. You just reminded me of something. Oh God, you just reminded me of something when I read Nomeo and Juliet. Hold on a second, I'll get to that in a bit. That opens with Nomeo telling Juliet how he'll love her until the day he dies before tripping off a table, breaking, being blasted by a leaf blower into a wood chipper, and then poured into a concrete mixer and turned into a little brick that lands in Juliet's hands, followed by a super short funeral. And when Juliet begins to cry, that's when it cuts to the logo with upbeat music. What? I don't even know what the fuck any of that means. I guess nothing's stopping you from making that, I guess, if you want to make that. But first of all, what the fuck is Nomeo and Juliet? Second of all, where the hell did that thought process come from? But that did remind me, yesterday I tried to watch that Cernio movie that Peter Dinklage stars in, Cernio de Bergerac. I remember seeing a trailer for it in the theaters, and I was like, "Oh, cool, Cernio with the Peter Dinklage. That seems like it seems like it'd be pretty cool." It actually reminded me, when I saw the trailer, the first thing it reminded me of was my introduction to David Tennant. Hey Devin, yo, what's up? H Barts on YouTube. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining the stream. It reminded me of on Masterpiece Theater, BBC, David Tennant did a production of Casanova. And I remember watching it in the very first apartment I lived in when I moved out of my parents' house back in like 2009 or something. I didn't have cable. I still don't have cable. I had PBS, and I watched David Tennant as Casanova on PBS. Had no idea who that dude was at the time, but I was just bored and had nothing else to watch. So I started watching it, and I was like, oh, this guy's awesome. So like, that's my introduction to David Tennant. And I was like, man, I love this show. I love this dude. And I've been following him ever since. So because Cernio reminded me of that, I was like, oh, I want to watch this. Yo, what's up, RJ? How you doing? Always wanted to watch the original 1950 Cernio. I haven't seen that one either. And maybe I should go back, because when I tried to watch this new one, it was awful. Absolutely awful. Like, first of all, I had no idea it was a musical. And I don't do well with musicals that aren't like Disney productions. So the songs right off the bat were pretty awful. Like, the opening song was almost like a funeral dirge. And it was like, why? Why would you start off if you have a musical that isn't supposed to be like a bleak story or a dystopian story or something, why would you start it off with any kind of song other than an upbeat one? Every Disney movie starts off with an upbeat song, but this one was just like a really downtrodden, low tempo kind of song, and it really put me in like a foul mood for like what I was getting into. But then they follow it up with two things. One, takes place in France. All the actors are speaking with a French accent, except for Peter Dinklage. He just speaks like his normal New Jersey accent, which is crazy because everybody knows Peter Dinklage from speaking with an accent on Game of Thrones. So it's like, why could they not have him speak with an accent in here when literally everybody else is speaking with a French accent? It just made him sound weird and out of place. But worse than that was the second musical number. They actually had Peter Dinklage rapping. And I couldn't handle that. That was where I bounced on that movie. Once he started rapping, I was like, all right, I'm out. I can't do this. It was pretty awful. It was pretty awful. I recommend watching it just for the comedy of it. See how far you can get. Nomeo and Juliet is a terrible movie about cartoon gnomes. Okay, fair enough. Hunchback of Notre Dame opened with a huge gothic orchestra. I remember that, but Hunchback of Notre Dame was also really, really awesome. It's a very underrated Disney movie. I love it. In fact, I may need to go rewatch that at some point. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen it, but I felt like that movie may have had a very anti-capitalist message too, or at the very least anti-colonialism. Or maybe that was Pocahontas. I can't quite remember the story of Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I remember at the time I watched it thinking this is very like anti-capitalist. I'm surprised Dinklage played Cernio since we know that Cernio was a real guy in the 1600s. Hold on a second. My little window is... Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, come on. Get with the program here. Oops. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to get my... There we go. That's better. Rapping Dinklage. Oh God. Yeah, it's bad. It's pretty awful. So I tried watching that and that didn't go very well. So killed that. Watched oh man, I can't even remember what I watched. The second movie I watched last night was 1804. That John Cusack, Sam Jackson horror movie, which was pretty good. I watched X. X was the first one I watched, the first movie I watched, which, was okay. I'm always disappointed in horror movies. I always think most of them are pretty lame. X kind of falls into that same, okay, this is kind of lousy, but, not the worst. I watched Smile last week, and that was actually a good movie. Like one of the rare horror movies that I was like, oh, this is actually good. So I recommend Smile. X. The only reason why I watched X is because I was told that like they're trying to make a trilogy out of it. There's a movie in theaters now, I believe, called Pearl, which is like the second of this supposed trilogy. So I wanted to give that a shot and see if maybe that was something I'd want to keep up with, but I don't know. I'm probably not going to go see Pearl. Anyway, people call it racist because they have people called the Romani people what they call wait, what? People call it racist because they have people call the Romani people what they call Romani back then. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It's interesting when very common lingo and terminology ends up being canceled. Things that you don't necessarily associate negatively in your mind because you're just so used to it being casually used in a day-to-day parlance. And then suddenly it's a slur and you're like, oh, I guess I need to be careful about saying that word. But I get what you're talking about. Saw Devotion on Wednesday. Really good film. Devotion. Oh, I feel like I saw a trailer for that, but I can't quite remember which one that was. Devotion. Oh, this is that John Majors movie, the plane jet fighter movie or something like that. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that you thought it was good. I've also found a new movie theater to go to in town. I used to go to Alamo Drafthouse to see all my movies, and I've been a pretty staunch Drafthouse loyalist. But recently, they've been doing some real shady labor-busting techniques that I cannot get behind anymore. So I went and found another movie theater in town called Movie House and Eatery. And it was actually for the most part, it was a better experience than Drafthouse. The food was better for certain. The chairs were way more comfortable. Awesome theater. It was really comfortable and cozy. Always felt clean. The only issue was that I think they were just understaffed. So, their food was better. Alamo's food used to be good. Fell off the radar recently. Kind of shitty now. But Movie House and Eatery was actually better food, better menu. But their service was really, really slow. So, I think they're probably just looking to hire more people. But I'm looking for excuses to see more movies at that theater just to get a sense of what it's actually like going there, if I want to make it my regular theater or not. I may go see Devotion there. They're playing Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio as well, and I think I might also go check that out. There's a lot to watch right now. There's a lot to watch. I've yet to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I'm going to try to watch that on Sunday. Watch that with a friend of mine. We watch Marvel stuff. Most of the Marvel stuff we watched together. I think the only thing we hadn't watched together was She-Hulk. But everything else we watched together. So saving that until Sunday when the next time we get the chance to watch it. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. But, you know, speaking of Disney Plus, there is some news. There is some very interesting news that has been revealed about the state of Disney Plus, particularly as it pertains to Bob Chapek's tenure as the CEO of Disney. Now, this both, it simultaneously surprises me and doesn't surprise me at all. Bob Chapek shifted budgets to disguise Disney Plus' massive monetary losses. New information about outgoing Disney CEO Bob Chapek's tenure suggested he disguised Disney Plus's losses by moving around budgets for its original shows. Now, there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk in like the movie talk space about streaming, basically, about the validity of streaming as a business, VOD as a business, basically, versus theaters. You know, when Warner Brothers Discovery happened and Zaslav came in, there was all sorts of consternation about, oh, he's removing all these shows from HBO Max, he's cutting all this, he's cutting that, he has this focus going forward on theatrical releases over developing directly towards streaming, and et cetera, et cetera. And especially when taken into account everything that's been going on with Netflix, particularly how, you know, they were shuttering a lot of their production and especially their animation services, it's caused a lot of people to reevaluate just exactly what streaming means and what level of import it should have towards a production studio or a content provider, as it were. And you know, I think those questions are only going to be bolded, highlighted, and underscored, you know, in the coming weeks, as I think we might start to see Disney under Bob Iger, under Bob Iger's returned tenure, maybe making similar moves. A recent report alleges Disney's ex-CEO Bob Chapek attempted to make Disney Plus appear more profitable by shifting the budget of various projects. Per the Wall Street Journal, people familiar with the matter shared that shows intended to be and billed as Disney Plus originals, including The Mysterious Benedict Society and Doogie Kamealoha MD. I forgot about that one. Were first aired on other networks such as the Disney Channel, so their production and marketing budgets wouldn't be counted against Disney Plus. In this way, the streaming service was seen as losing less money on original content. Chief Financial Officer Christine McCarthy, who was reportedly one of the voices behind Chapek's removal, was, quote, concerned about this strategy. I mean, yeah, that's like basically cooking the books. You're misrepresenting, you know, where the budget for your shows are actually going, which could definitely make it look like Disney Plus isn't costing as much money as it actually is when you're creating Disney Plus shows, but then billing it to Disney Channel, which is all kind of weird how that works. You know, it's all Disney, right? It's all under the same umbrella. Whether the money is going to Disney Channel or Disney Plus, it's still Disney paying for it. But they need to understand. Their accounting teams need to understand fully which aspect of the business is a more viable return on investment than the other, right? Which is, I don't think, like, Bob Chapek came in after Disney Plus had already launched, so it's not even like Disney Plus was his specific baby. Like, he came on right after, I think, right before the pandemic really hit. So I'm not even necessarily sure why. Like, I could understand if Disney Plus was his thing and he just wanted to prop it up so he didn't look like his venture was a failure. I could understand that. But if he had already inherited it, and granted, he did, create the strategy going forward with, through the pandemic and beyond. Like, I just don't understand why he felt the need to misrepresent its budget, if it wasn't like if it wasn't, necessarily his baby. I usually go to Phoenix Theater since it has Dolby Atmos, but since Max is paying for me to see Way of Water, I'm gonna go ahead to my local IMAX for the first time since '09. Wait, Max is paying for you to see Avatar? Lord almighty, that guy is such an Avatar shill. Why? I don't even know. Would I see Avatar if somebody paid me to go see it? Maybe I would, but probably not, actually. I really don't like Avatar. That's weird that he'd do that, considering Disney Plus' thing was, this isn't going to make us a lot of money in the first few months, but over time it will develop into an incredible profitable venture. So the risk of doing this, if he did do it, seems very not thought out. Yeah, that's a good point too, Toaster. And I think that most people, like, whenever streaming services like this are initially pitched, they're always pitched from the point of view of, well, this isn't like the content we're creating for these streaming services aren't like theatrical releases. When you release a movie, when you budget for a movie, pre-production, and then you go into production, you shoot it, cut it, you got the final cut, you end up with a price tag plus whatever the marketing is on that, and then you gauge the success or failure, I suppose, of that property based off of the box office revenue, directly off of the box office revenue once that title is put into a theater. So you have almost a one-to-one sort of measuring stick where it's like, okay, this movie was a $200 million budget and we have a total worldwide box office of 450 million. So we made our money back just barely on this one, or we lost X amount of money just based off of the box office receipts. But that was never part of the marketing for streaming services, because there isn't that one-to-one measuring stick as far as like whatever revenue you get from the streaming service itself. Like, they don't ever partial out subscription numbers like that. In fact, they barely let you even know what streaming numbers are, if they let you know them at all. So they can have these investments where they're putting 10, 20, 30 million dollars into whatever show or movie that's exclusive to the streaming service. But then once they invest that money, it's anyone's guess what the return is on it, because, maybe there's an uptick in subs, but what does that uptick in subs, translate to as far as what percentage of that $8.99 or $9.99 a month for all of the new subscriptions within that time frame that they may be counting? What percentage of that money is actually attributed to X property or Y property? Like Doogie Kamealoha MD. How can they determine what subset of revenue they get from Disney Plus subscriptions is attributable to Doogie Kamealoha MD or the mysterious Benedict Society? And it's kind of interesting because, when you focus on comic book stuff as much as the circles that we rotate around in the movie talk space, you forget that Disney Plus is so much more than just comic book shit or Star Wars shit. They have a lot. There's a lot of stuff on Disney Plus. There's obviously the Pixar movies and whatnot. There's a lot of the Fox stuff that's up on there now. They do original stuff like this. There was a Chinese cooking show of some sort that I remember starting to watch a while back too. Don't know quite who that's marketed towards, other than obviously the Chinese market. But there's a lot of stuff on there that, yeah, all of that costs money. And I don't know how you can determine what part of the, other than they have internal metrics like, okay, X amount of, X amount of our bandwidth goes towards, people watching Star Wars properties or people watching Marvel properties. They have all the metrics they need to determine which part of Disney Plus sees the heaviest loads and which part of the year. I'm sure that as Christmas time rolls around, you'll start seeing more Christmas-based family stuff getting a bit of the load on Disney Plus, opposite of, Halloween, where you might see, whatever. So it's kind of interesting to think about, these kinds of weirdo show. Well, I say weirdo to me because they're not made for me, but to think about how these kinds of shows might, contribute to Disney Plus underperforming, as it were. I have to watch Avatar 1 before I go because I've never seen the first. Oh man, you are in for a brutal slog. I'm sorry, I really don't like Avatar. And I thought that first one sucked, and I just don't have any interest in the second one. But, I mean, at least the second one is all CG, right? Like, there's no human actors in it, so that'll help make it less cringy than the first one. Devin, what's up, man? Yo, what's up, Brian? How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a good Thanksgiving. I don't know if you have a long weekend or anything, but hope you had a good Thanksgiving nonetheless. Anyways, let me continue. Chapek had a lot riding on Disney Plus as he had promised investors that Disney's streaming division, which also includes, Hulu and ESPN Plus, would be profitable by 2024. However, 164 million subscribers for Disney Plus, roughly 2/3 of Netflix's current number, and $30 billion invested in content in 2022 alone haven't been enough to stop losses from increasing for the last 4 quarters. Overall, the streaming division has lost more than $8.5 billion since Disney Plus launched in 2019. Holy shit. That's a lot of that's a lot of spicy meatballs that's fallen on the floor there. $8.5 billion since 2019. And that's the kind of thing that makes me wonder, like, in the coming months, we might be talking about Bob Iger the same way that, we've been talking about David Zaslav, man. We might be talking about canceled Disney Plus projects. I don't know if they're going to be doing any tax clawbacks, but I'm beginning to question the legitimacy of this streaming strategy. I'd be interested to see what Paramount Plus looks like, financially speaking. In a surprising announcement on November 20th, 2022, Disney confirmed Chapek would be stepping down after less than 3 years in the job and would be replaced by his predecessor, Bob Iger. The returning executive, who held the top job at Disney for 15 years, oversaw such momentous moments for the company in the 21st century as the acquisitions of Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm's 21st Century Fox. Since the announcement, rumors have been circling about why Disney's board found Chapek's leadership unsatisfactory. These includes Disney Plus's unpopular price hike and disparaging remarks he made about animation, which reportedly, that's going around every content creator right now, which reportedly angered and alienated staff in Disney and Pixar's animation departments. I mean, there's been a lot of angst about his handling of the parks too, though. Like, that's also a component that I don't think gets talked about a lot in these stories about Chapek, is that longtime Disney regulars who just go there and drop obscene amounts of money, on a regular basis, were not happy with the decisions that Chapek had been making with the parks. And I think even Bob Iger came out himself and said that he thinks that the parks pricing has gotten a little bit out of control. I think he said it was too expensive, so you may start seeing some clawbacks on the pricing structure that Bob Chapek introduced, in addition to like getting rid of like Fast Pass and trying to go to using Genie Plus. I don't think Genie Plus is popular with really anyone because it kind of eliminates the whole purpose of a Fast Pass. But there's just a bunch of like very obvious decisions that chapek made that were made for the purpose of really just squeezing as much blood out of the fiscal stone that he saw, all of his customers as, squeezing as much as possible. Which, CEO works for the board. That is his job. But sometimes you could do it poorly and piss the wrong people off. And then there's also the fact that like Disney as a brand needs to be managed in a different way than like Warner Brothers or DreamWorks or something. Like, it does have an image that it can't cheap on. People think about Disney, they think about a certain level of quality that they expect to see, whether it's in a show or a movie or going to the parks or going to the Disney store or anything else like that. And I think that when you start making decisions where you try to cut corners and do things on the cheap, and that starts to reflect on Disney's brand, I think that has more of a negative ramification towards longtime loyalists, the people who you need on your side if you're going to try to get the general populace hyped up about your products in general. It's going to make it worse for those fans of Disney than it would for fans of other properties, just because the quality, the magic, it's all about Disney magic. That's the thing that they hype up the most. Like the Magic Kingdom, there is a magical mysticism surrounding that brand that, works to the benefit of its marketing department, to be perfectly honest with you. But they can only do so much, if their CEO isn't actively like slashing budgets and firing Imagineers and replacing really awesome shows at the park with these really lame. I remember watching, must have been 2021. It was on TikTok. There were people that were taking videos of like these really lame ass. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. It was Bob Chapek's kind of like, what was it? It was called Kite Tails. Is that what this thing is? All right, I don't want to watch the full show. Let me see if this is it. I think this is it. Yeah. Like, this is the kind of shit that people would go to Disney to see. Like, think about how much money you're spending when you fly from wherever you're flying from, and you gotta spend like, if you're at Disney for a few days, 3 or 4 days maybe, you're spending at least $3,000, and that's just if you're going by yourself. Like, if you've got like a family, God, look at how shitty that thing looks. That doesn't even. I guess that's supposed to be Pumbaa. Look at how shitty it is. All it is it's just a balloon that they drag across, and it's just some dude on a jet ski. There's nothing. It's not even like a jet ski that's decorated to look like a pirate ship or something, or like something cool from a Disney. It's just a normal ass jet ski with this really lame Simba, and they just crash him. They just float him in the air and crash him on the side of the thing, and then they wave while they're. It's just so. This is so lame. This is like shit that you would expect to see at like the Oklahoma State Fair. But this is the kind of thing that like really needled the Disney loyalists the wrong way. Like, they were very upset about the parks pulling back on, like they were like, and this was also in fairness, and I do think that a lot of what Chapek had to deal with was he was dealing with the circumstances of having to manage this company at the height of the pandemic. And so there were a lot of difficult decisions that he had to make as far as like, okay, people aren't, rushing to these parks the way that they were, pre-pandemic. And there are safety things that we have to put into consideration as far as like, okay, you gotta stay 6 feet apart, and there are parts of the lines that you're waiting in where you're inside. So, when you're inside, we only have a certain amount of people that we want to have inside, and you gotta be sure you wear a mask, and etc. There was a lot that they had to deal with that was working against them as far as like being able to get as much revenue as possible while operating this massive thing. So yeah, they did have to let some people go. I think they went a little out of control with it, but it is a tough situation. So in some respects, I do kind of understand where Chapek is coming from with what he was trying to manage, but he didn't make a lot of friends in his venture. So, I think the board was all too happy to have a legitimate reason to be done with them when one was presented to them. There were also rumors in March 2022 that Chapek would be ousted over his mishandling of Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, which saw Disney employees stage a walkout amid Chapek's refusal to condemn the bill, and the revelation that Disney financially supported some of the Florida politicians behind the anti-LGBT law. I mean, that's just normal. That's just normal stuff. The people that are behind the anti-LGBT law are also the people that provide the biggest tax breaks for, giant corporations. So whether Disney themselves are anti-LGBT or not is almost entirely irrelevant if all of those anti-LGBT politicians are the one that's going to give them their tax cuts. So, that's collateral damage. That's called catching a stray. Also of concern to investors was Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit against the company for the direct-to-streaming release of Black Widow, which violated the contract she held with the entertainment monolith. According to insiders, many members of the board believe Chapek's handling of the situation left much to be desired. Maybe, but I doubt that played a huge role into, ultimately his undoing. Disney CFO who raised concerns about Bob Chapek has respect on the street. So I guess this was the CFO that blew the whistle on him. Was a big write-up on the Wall Street Journal about it. I mean, it's kind of crazy that, I have to imagine that at many of these large corporations, book cooking is a pretty common thing. And if a CFO or an accountant or whatever sees that it's going on before like any kind of official investigation can be undertaken by, the SEC or anything like that, or FEC or whoever would be involved with investigating it. I would imagine that, there would be mechanisms that they would take to, do internal investigations and remedy the situation without having to oust, the CEO. If there were, if they found that, the book cooking wasn't, or wasn't as egregious, wasn't a misappropriation, I guess, rather. It wasn't like he was taking money from one aspect of Disney and like using it on his own personal enrichment. It wasn't like an embezzlement operation. It was really just kind of like sweeping some dirt under a rug. I would imagine that in most companies, when that sort of thing occurs, they probably find ways to work around it. Clean up the books, privately reprimand the person responsible, but don't make like a big public scene about it, as to not try to draw attention to like any sort of obvious or maybe not so obvious crimes being committed. But the fact that this went way up to the board and they used it as an opportunity to axe this guy kind of tells me that they didn't like Bob Chapek at all. Hello, hey Gabriella, how are you? Welcome back to the stream. Chapek also fired Peter Rice, who he saw as a threat to his job since he was one of Iger's guys. Iger coming back is the best thing for Disney right now, hoping the animators stay happy as they know that Chapek is gone. Yeah, I'm wondering about the animation thing, because animation is Disney's big thing, obviously. That's It's what they're known for. They're not gonna axe their animation studios the way that Netflix has been axing theirs and Warner Brothers Discovery has been axing theirs. Like they're not. I don't see Disney doing that. But I do get the sense that something's gotta change. Something's we're coming to a head on something here. Like you can't lose 8.5 billion since 2019 on Disney Plus and still just be like, okay, we're still full steam ahead on Disney Plus. You know, something's getting cut. Something's getting cut here. And right now, across all forms of entertainment, basically, like animation is the easy target. It's the low-hanging fruit. You know, you could easily cut that and save yourself a ton of money. Especially if your animators reside in America. If your animators are in China or Korea or something, then, you know, maybe a little less so. But if they're living in America, that's a big expense that you can do away with right away. So I don't want to say that Disney's animation studios or a lot of animators are safe now that Iger is here and Chapek isn't. It might be the opposite. Sweeping those numbers, sweeping those Disney Plus numbers under the rug might have been what have been saving some animators' jobs. Hey, yo, what's up, Bianca? How are you? I thought I subscribed, but I didn't. Well, welcome to the stream. I hope you subscribe now. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not going to read this whole Wall Street Journal article. Maybe there's something in here. Hopefully Marvel CGI gets somewhat better. I don't know if it would have an impact on that, honestly. I guess if they cut back on the amount of shows that they're doing, it'll have a residual effect. But a lot of that CGI is done outside of Disney, anyways. It's all, you know, effects houses, third-party effects houses that does all that work. One thing I did read about Guardians holiday special is that, you know, in addition to Werewolf by Night being awesome, like these two one-offs are creating an avenue for Marvel to create both awesome content but also scale back on the amount of production that they do, the heavy footprint, both fiscally and, you know, and labor-wise, that creating all of these 6 to 10 episode shows has, versus just having these special events that, you know, are just as high quality as any of the movies or TV shows, maybe even more so, since, you know, they're forced to be a little bit more focused. That might be a way for them to go. I wonder how many of these series that they had announced that they have planned, if they're, you know, gonna rework any of them to be special presentations rather than full-on series. I would be in favor of that, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I don't need 7, you know, 6 episode series to look forward to going forward. If we could have something as awesome as Werewolf by Night, you know, that just drops on at a given moment. So I'm for it. I'm for it if that happens. And obviously that would be a huge help for the VFX industry that's, you know, currently crushed trying to provide all of these incredible looking effects for not just Marvel shows, but for shows for Warner Brothers, shows for Netflix, shows for Paramount, shows for you know, streaming services that I don't even know exist, really. In addition to like all the indie films that they might, you know, they might actually want to work on, and not work on because it's a big paycheck, you know, work on because they like the project that's being presented to them. Got to remember, a lot of these dudes are, you know, creatives. They want to be filmmakers. They have an interest in working on. It's kind of like when I was working at BioWare, and I was talking with one of the guys, one of the developers there, about, you know, the prospect of our studio being used to do like support development work for another BioWare studio, and it's like I didn't. I didn't. I think he was saying to me, I didn't take this job so I could help somebody, build out some lame aspect of their game. I want to make cool shit. Like, everybody here works here because they want to make cool shit. And it's like, yeah, everybody just wants to make cool shit. And, those VFX artists, they want to make cool shit. They want to work on cool shit. And sometimes that's Marvel, but sometimes they want to do non-superhero stuff. I am. Okay, cool. Thank you. They should have Bob Chapek replace Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. Well, I don't know if Bob Chapek is going to be hurting for that kind of work, honestly. It sounds like they set him up with a pretty nice golden parachute. Hey, look, it's Devin. Yo, what's up, Dean? How are you doing? Hope all is well. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Let's see. I really enjoyed Werewolf by Night. Felt like a mix of Universal horror and Hammer horror. Yeah, exactly, and that's what made it cool. It was a cool vibe. That entire special had a really cool vibe to it. Like, it almost kind of felt like the world that they were presenting to you felt very like witchery to me, because it was like about a group of monster hunters, and they all had their own personality that was not just like presented to you by their mannerisms, but it was also presented to you by their costuming. The costuming was really cool. And their weaponry, you could get their personality from their weapons and costume, and and these different weird personalities all sitting in this room together like professional monster hunters, and it was just cool to see. I like that. In addition to like the aesthetic, the old horror movie aesthetic, it was really well done, and it was a cool introduction of Man Thing. Let's see. All right, Dean and Bianca are talking DMs, so I will just move on and let you guys sort that out. Let's see. Under Miss McCarthy, Disney has surpassed analyst expectations for reported earnings per share. So, okay, this is a lot of Wall Street Journal babble. I'm sure it'll be interesting read if you want to read it. So you can find this somewhere and bone up on the history of Disney's whistleblowing CFO. But it's an interesting story nonetheless. Shouldn't be super surprised that Chapek was cooking books, but I imagine everyone's cooking books. I'm more surprised that he was called out on it. All right. Andor creator Tony Gilroy tells us why revolutions are always relevant. Oh man, so I hope everybody who's watching has seen all of Star Wars Andor. If not, I'm not going to go too deeply into it. I watched the finale the other day, and I thought it was really, really awesome. Let's see. Speaking of Witcher, you got to stick with the show after Cavill. I'm debating whether to stay or just to leave at season 3. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't know. I really don't know if it's gonna last very long after season 3, depending on what season 3 looks like. I mean, it's kind of a messy situation for them, to be honest with you. And if season 3 drops and it's not very well received, then I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they'll really go forward with who is it, Liam Hemsworth recasting and then shooting, because that production, the production of The Witcher is a bear. Like that's a massive thing to undertake, and that's also a big budgetary expense for Netflix. And they don't share any of their financial information with anyone, so there's no telling if it's a viable return on that investment. Maybe it is. Maybe it's perfectly popular, and only the diehard fanboys are the ones that are complaining about the show veering from source material. But personally, I don't have an interest in a Liam Hemsworth Geralt. Maybe he'll be fine. I'm pretty sure if that season drops, I'll probably watch an episode and see what it's like. And if I don't like it, I won't watch anymore. I'll watch season 3 just because I'm curious now about what that season must look like if it led to Henry Cavill hanging it up. Like, it has to be some pretty wacky shit, so I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what that's going to be. But after that, I don't know. I'll probably be disinterested by then. I'm already fairly disinterested now. I've talked at length about my my attitude towards the Witcher show on this channel, both the first and second season. Like, I haven't talked much about the anime. I watched it. I liked it. It was fine. And I know they have that spin-off show too, that looks somewhat interesting. But as far as like the mainline stuff, that second season was rough, man. Let's see. So what's the chapek issue? Oh man, the chapek issue. The long and short of it is, the Disney board kicked his ass out. And they did so, as we just discovered, is because he was cooking the books. In addition to probably just not being very well liked, and not being the administrator of the Disney brand that Bob Iger probably thought he could be. So, that's pretty much the chapek issue. It's taking some time. Hey, Sean, how you doing? It's taking some time, but Disney will be fine by 2024. Disney is not going to be broke. Is not going broke at all. Oh, no. I don't have any sense that Disney is like, pulling their pockets inside out looking for pennies amongst the lint. They're going to be fine. They will be fine, but their being fine is also going to mean figuring out what to do about this streaming service that cost them $8 billion in 3 years. Like, they're going to be refactoring some things. They also need to figure out what they're going to do about Galactic Star Cruiser at their at Disney World, because apparently that shit's so expensive to stay at that they have to like entice journalists and other people with free trips there just so they can get some positive press over it. Let's see, Andor season 2 already filming. I'm super happy about that. I don't doubt that at all, and I'm eager to see what it looks like. I have not watched Andor. Usually binge. Usually I'm against binge watching, but I think Andor is probably a show that works better for binge watching than most others. So all the episodes are out now, so as soon as you find yourself with like a free weekend, binge them. It's 12 episodes, I think, so it's definitely binge worthy. Liam Hemsworth is getting jacked. He may even be bigger than Cavill. God damn, that's crazy. I mean, Geralt is never supposed to be like... I guess he's cut. He's not really jacked. I loved Witcher Season 1, messy timeline and all. Really liked Season 2, Episode 1, but after that, the rest of the season was horrible. Henry Cavill held that show together. That's pretty much my take too. I mean, I liked Season 1 enough. It was pretty tough and it had a terrible ending. Episode 1 of Season 2 is by far the best Witcher episode they ever made. Awesome episode. And it did fall apart hard after that one. But I just, along with a lot of the other fans, I just got the sense that they didn't really either get the source material or didn't care for the source material. And that producer slash writer, Bo DeMeo, he came out and said that there were writers in the writer's room that didn't like the source material. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that confirms it then, I guess. So, And I think different ways on that. Like, I don't think you need diehard sycophants, at every chair in the writer's room on an adaptation, but at the very least, you can't dislike something that you're going to be doing an adaptation on. Yeah, that's, everybody wants to, put their own personality, put their own spin, their own vision on something, even if it's an adaptation. The most boring thing in the world would be to do a complete one-to-one translation. But, taking liberties is taking risks, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. My brother watched Witcher. He liked it. Can't believe Eskel and Roach were killed. Roach... Geralt's had a lot of horses named Roach in his time, so they all usually end up meeting a grisly fate. There's an anime? Yeah, I forget what it's called. I think it's called Nightmare of the Wolf. It's about Vesemir as a young Witcher. It's pretty cool. It's not bad, actually. That's what I'm like. There's an anime. Yeah, check it out. It's on Netflix. Nightmare of the Wolf. It's like finding out Supernatural had an anime all over again. Wait a second. Supernatural has an anime? I'll be honest with you. I've watched like maybe 30 seconds of Supernatural total in my life. And it was always like, it was a CW show, but it was oddly gory. Like every image I have of Supernatural in my head is like someone getting their head cut off or like a hole punched in their body. And I'm always like, this is on CW at like 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. It was weird. I felt weirded out by that show a little bit, but then, you know, all of my goth lady friends loved it. Hey, 65K for a family of 4 Starship. Wait, hold on. Am I reading that right? No, 6K. 6K, I'm about to say 65K. Like my eyes are messing with me right now. I mean, but even still, 6K for a family of 4. That's fucking wild. I think Kenobi would have been better to binge. I loved Kenobi. I thought it was a great show, and I liked being able to. I liked that it kind of left you on a week to week thing. The thing about Andor for me is just like it's so. And this is what my buddy Justin was saying when we were talking about it last time. It's very British, and it's like a British indie film in the way that it's cut, the way that it's kind of oriented. A lot of the episodes kind of leave off in a weird, almost discombobulating way. Like it almost be like it almost feel like it's in the middle of a random scene, and then suddenly the credits will appear, and I'll always just kind of feel jarred by it. And I think that's why I say that it's probably better for binging, because then you don't have that hanging with you for like a week. But I mean, I think that's just like maybe that's a taste thing. I'm not a big fan of I'm not a huge fan of a lot of British television, British drama, European style, or maybe I just haven't watched enough of it. But I just didn't like the way that Andor, those episodes ended. I think there was really only one episode that I thought ended cleanly, and that was 10. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil anything for people that haven't seen it, but it was one of the Andy Serkis episodes. I've never watched Supernatural. All right, well, we're in the club together then. People who say Rings of Power deviate too much are wrong, since the Tolkien estate was watching the show like a hawk. I wish The Witcher had lore keeper on set. I think Cavill needed some creative input. I mean, well, I think Rings of Power probably did deviate, but I think it deviated by necessity because there was just a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of the notes and stuff that Tolkien left behind anyways. In addition to the estate, you know, wanting to be able to control what narratives were told. It was a very purposeful deviation by the Tolkien estate's part. So I think that's kind of a different thing. And Henry Cavill was the lore master on that set. Like, he was the guy that was like, wait a second, this isn't right. Geralt would never make a joke at Roach's death, or I should say this line, you know, when I should say this line when talking to Yennefer. There was a I forget which episode. There was an episode in season 2 where Geralt's talking to Yennefer, and he's like, and he mentions Vilithethmer, I forget, the dragon, the talking dragon. I can never say that guy's name, but he mentions what Vilithmethaner or whatever said to them about the prophecy and whatnot. But the thing is, what Geralt says, that the jackdaws, I guess is what his name is as a human form. 3 jackdaws. What he says that Jackdaw says to him in that episode is different from what Jackdaws actually said to him in season 1. In season 2, what Geralt says is told to him is actually what's told to them in the books. But in season 1, what is told to them by 3 jackdaws is totally different than what is told in the books. It was a deviation in season 1 where the 3 jackdaws is basically like, your fate has already been written. You will never be together. You will never find happiness, blah, blah, blah. Basically stuff like that. But in the books, he said something totally different. And then in season 2, instead of Geralt referencing what was said in season 1, he references what's said in the book. And that's because Henry Cavill had that input to try to make the show follow the book more rather than deviate even further, which is cool, but it's also really inconsistent with what was established in season 1. So yeah, Henry Cavill was really the lore master on that set. And I think that's a contributing factor as to why he got fed up and left. You know, like he was a lore master that the showrunners, it seems like they just weren't super interested in listening to him anymore. Dude, Supernatural is good. As you get to season 9, it starts getting out of hand. I mean, it seemed out of hand right from the start to me. But maybe I'll go back and watch it someday. 6K, I can barely afford 1K. Well, that's a part of what Bob Iger was also talking about, like the prices at Disney being out of control right now. So I think that we're gonna start seeing some of those cuts coming down. I think the Kenobi left too much debate between each week release, which caused fandom to speculate too much. Andor runtimes were all over the map, just like all these streaming shows. Yeah, the streaming show, they don't have to worry about commercial breaks and fitting in between, the 6 o'clock news and the 10 o'clock news and all of that. So yeah, they can do whatever they want with runtimes. But I guess there was a lot of debate in between the Kenobi episodes, more so than Andor, but it's so weird. Like there's hardly any conversation going on about Andor. And I don't know if that's because people aren't watching it or if it's just because is there not a lot to talk about with Andor? Is it that cut and dry? It can't be, because like in my view, it is like the most nuanced show on Disney Plus. Like, and there are some incredible moments on it. There are some truly, I have this article right here that I guess I'm not going to get to if not everybody has seen Andor. I'll probably go over it on Tuesday. I'm going to have my buddy Justin on the show, and we'll probably go over this article on Tuesday. Because I definitely have some moments that I'd like to talk about, but I guess not really a whole lot of people are talking about Andor, which is a real shame. Lol. Oh, it was out of hand, but they kept it simple with Yellow Eye Demon, and then it goes to God, Satan, Hell, all this craziness. It does that old trick. That's such a 90s staple. I know Supernatural isn't from the 90s, but that is a 90s staple. It's kind of like Buffy or even Sandman. Sandman just came out it was just a few months ago that Sandman dropped. I almost said last year. But I mean, Sandman's a comic from the fucking 90s. And it has the same convention. Great show on Netflix, by the way. But the same thing, where all of a sudden devils and angels are getting involved, and I'll be honest with you, I tend to lose interest when shit like that happens, but, I thought Sandman did it well enough. Glad to know The Walking Dead finally ended personally. Wait, it ended? Walking Dead's over? Holy shit. I thought that was going to go on forever, to be perfectly honest with you. Personally, think any show should go past 8 seasons unless it's anthology or sitcom, but TWD was so downhill for the last few seasons. How many seasons did that end up with then? It's like 18 seasons or something, because they kind of were doing the thing where they were doubling up on seasons a year. Andor is the #1 streaming show in the US this week. Oh, I can believe that it is this week. But when it started, like, there was so much shit going on. Like, Andor started streaming the same time that, like, House of the Dragon was streaming and Rings of Power was streaming, She-Hulk was streaming. You know, there was all sorts. I think it was shortly after it launched shortly after Cobra Kai's new season dropped. There was just a lot of stuff happening by the time Andor started. And once all that cleared up, you know, I think that's when you started to hear a little bit more about Andor. The show also started to hit its stride around the time all that cleared up too. So yeah, I think that also scheduling probably didn't help with the conversations around Andor when everyone was talking about House of the Dragon and or Rings of Power. I don't have any interest in Sandman. I didn't at first, but the show really drew me into it. I was very glad that I watched it by the end. I would recommend that you at least watch the first episode and see if you still feel the same way. I loved it. Visually, I thought it was really cool. I thought the actors were great. I thought the concepts that it was introducing were neat. I was never into the comic. I have one, but only because Yoshitaka Amano did the artwork for it. He was the artist and character designer for the Final Fantasy games on the Nintendo and Super Nintendo. The guy that did all the watercolor art. And I love his watercolors, and it looked really awesome and worked really well with the Sandman story that they were telling. But other than that, I just never read the comics. Went into the show pretty much blind, but I liked it. I was impressed. Sandman, Titans, and Doom Patrol are shows I will never watch because they were DCU. I don't even think of Sandman as DC, to be perfectly honest. I know that it is, but I just don't. Like, all that Vertigo stuff almost seems like it's inadmissible as like DC material to me. I haven't watched, actually, that just reminded me that Preacher is a show too, and I've never watched any of that. I've never watched The Walking Dead. I'm not a zombie guy. Me either. In fact, when Walking Dead dropped, I was already sick of zombies. And I remember watching that first episode when it premiered, because it premiered, I think, on Halloween. And I was at a friend of mine's house, and, you know, we had a gathering, and we all watched it. And it was a neat premiere, but that was the only episode of Walking Dead I ever watched, because I was like, I just don't care about zombies. It's played out. Zombies are played out. And I'm done with it. Let's see. Oh, binge tonight. 6 episodes. Also for the last 5 weeks. Andor is 12 episodes. That makes sense if it was top stream for the last 5 weeks. That's about as it's about as long as those other shows have been over with at this point. I don't have any interest in Sandman Titans. Yeah, I've never watched Walking Dead. Okay, 12. I think 11 or 12. Gave up on Walking Dead at season 2. It also like turned into Power Rangers. I remember seeing like trailers for the final season, and it straight up looked like Power Rangers. Like they were in a zombie apocalypse in like power suits and shit. It was pretty wild. That might be the only part of it worth watching now that I think about it. Fall season premieres. No good time to drop Andor with all those shows. Yeah, they should have. I mean, I would hate to say they should have delayed it, but maybe they should have. Or delayed something else. Maybe they shouldn't have had She-Hulk running at that time. Or, I don't know. It was just too much shit. I was inundated with things to watch at that time. Like, I was barely paying attention to the first few episodes of Andor. Because they dropped 3. They dropped the first 3 episodes on the same day. It was a lot. Do you need to have read the Sandman comics? Nope. I didn't read any of them. I didn't read any of them, and I followed it just fine. I'm also not a zombie person. I like werewolves. Well, I guess Werewolf by Night is your thing, even though there's kind of a werewolf in it. There's not a lot of werewolf material. Slow zombies are boring. I'll take fast zombies, though. That's what I thought when I watched 28 Days Later, but then I realized this just feels like meth heads. They just seemed like they were being attacked by meth heads, and I was like, I don't know if I dig that either. I remember seeing like G.I. Joe power suits in trailers as well. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, they're running out of shit to do with Walking Dead if power suits is where they've gotten to. Like, just kill it, just end the show. And I guess they did, so cool, congrats to them. Norman Reedus was a Blue Ranger or Red Ranger. He was a red, wasn't he? Norman Reedus. Lord. I remember he was in Austin for South by Southwest, and he was like, oh, I can't remember. He was trying, he was trying real hard to I think it was Zoe Kravitz. He was trying real hard to bang Zoe Kravitz. He was at some bars that some friends of mine run. No, I remember them telling me that, and I was just like, oh, that sounds accurate. He's supposed to be a really nice guy, though. He'd be cool to hang with. What did you think of Thor: Love and Thunder? Personally, it was one of the worst movies I've seen. I loved Ragnarok. It made me skeptical about Marvel, but She-Hulk got me back into Marvel. That's interesting. I would say Thor: Love and Thunder exists right in the middle of where Thor: Ragnarok and She-Hulk exist, as far as like tone is concerned. Like, I think She-Hulk is probably on the more slapsticky and satirical end of that tone, and Thor: Ragnarok is probably on the more serious and straightforward end of that tone, and Thor: Love and Thunder is probably right in the middle. So it's interesting that you like the two poles but not the thing that's right in the middle. I like Thor: Love and Thunder. I thought it had, the story was fine, you know, all of that was great. Sure, I was okay with it. Christian Bale was awesome. I would have liked to have seen more of his character in it, but what I liked the most was just the visual aesthetics. Like, the visual design of the movie was awesome. Like, I thought it was incredible. All the scenes looked great, especially when they went to the moon that was devoid of color. I thought that was a really cool trick. Just the use of colors in general. I'm a big fan of colors. If you couldn't tell, I'm a big fan of wild and robust, flamboyant colors. So I was a big fan of the visual aesthetic of Thor: Love and Thunder. It was a little bit, the criticisms of something being too jokey, like when they say like, oh, that show is too jokey. It's like, okay, maybe, but like if the jokes work, then it's not that big of a deal. They work in Thor: Ragnarok. They work for the most part in She-Hulk. Some of the jokes worked in Love and Thunder. Some of them didn't. Some of them fell a little flat. I think that's why you saw those screaming goats. Like, the screaming goats thing to me was just kind of like a, well, we can't make these jokes work, so let's just put these screaming goats in there. Whatever. I still like the movie. Definitely, I don't think it's the worst MCU movie. I don't know what I would say is the worst MCU movie. I mean, it would be easy to say Thor: To the Dark World, and I don't think I would be wrong in that assessment. But I'd have to go through the list and look and really see, though. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I saw another movie where the werewolf at the end is the reveal, so I was fine with it. Wait, the werewolf at the end is the reveal. Wait, what movie was that? Love and Thunder was saved by Bell, though. Thank you, Bell. I mean, I wouldn't say it was saved by him. I think it was made exponentially better by him, but I don't think it was saved by him. Like, if Christian Bale wasn't in that movie, because he barely was in it, honestly, that's the thing. That was my problem with the movie, is like, Gore the God Killer was barely in the movie, and I would have liked to have seen him in the movie more. But to the extent that he was in the movie, I think he elevated things, you know, to a extreme degree. Like, it felt like a better it felt like a better movie when he was on the screen than it did when he was off of it. I'll say that. But even in the scenes that he wasn't in, I still like the movie just fine. Belle was great in Thor. I'm not a Thor fan. They are all one-off viewings for me. Well, I think a lot of those MCU movies, honestly, as big as a Marvel fan as I am, a lot of those movies are one-off viewings for me. Very rarely do I go back and watch a Marvel movie. I've watched Winter Soldier and Civil War a lot. I think those are probably it. Just, once you watch them, you've seen them, and it's hard to kind of get the same juice that you got out of it during that initial viewing. I did enjoy She-Hulk more than Ragnarok. Okay, well, I mean, She-Hulk was definitely lighter. It was definitely more comical than Ragnarok. I think I probably liked Ragnarok more than She-Hulk, but, it's a matter of taste. What kind of thing you want from your superhero adventure. Best movies I've seen this year are Top Gun Maverick, Devotion, and Downton Abbey 2. Man, I laugh, but I used to be obsessed with Downton Abbey when that show was originally airing. Haven't seen Devotion yet. I love Top Gun Maverick. I don't know if I can come up with... I'd have to really sit down and think about all the movies I've watched this year to come up with a like a top movies of the year for me. I did like Top Gun Maverick though. I don't know if I would put that on my top list, my top movie of the year list though. She-Hulk was fun. She-Hulk was fun. I don't know what all the hubbub was about. That dude who made hero suits was gold. Yeah, I like that guy. I thought She-Hulk was great. I thought it was a great change of pace show. Like, I liked Titania. I think she was awesome in it. It was just a fun show. Sometimes people don't want to have fun. You can't listen to people that don't want to have fun. Like, just have fun. Those goats were awful. I loved Luke. It was an Indian werewolf movie based on a video game. I don't remember the name, really. Wolf Among Us or something like that? Wolf Among Us? They made a movie about that? I had no idea they made a Wolf Among Us game. Wolf Among Us, if I remember correctly, that was based off of a comic as well. I think also a Vertigo comic. That was about the werewolf that's like a detective. And he lives in a world where like fairy tale creatures coexist in the real world with regular humans. And they like have to make sure that, the fairy tale creatures don't like start fucking shit up in the human world or something like that. 1 second. Every time I pour water, the cat jumps up out of the bed just to stare at my water cooler. You've seen me do it a million times. I'm just getting some water. You can go back to sleep. That's fine. All right, let's see. The scene where his daughter died had me tearing up. Are you talking about Thor: Love and Thunder? I haven't rewatched the Ant-Man films. I haven't rewatched the Ant-Man films either, now that I think about it. I like Thor 2. I know I have terrible taste. Everybody has their preferences. I could spend some time shitting on you for liking that movie, but hey, if you like it, then I'm glad that you like it. I definitely didn't like that movie. Actually, there's a big part of that movie where the VFX house that was responsible for the attack on Asgard, they literally copied and pasted the exact same cinematic that exact same VFX house used when I was at BioWare working on Star Wars: The Old Republic. The trailer that we had our announcement trailer for that game where the one of the main Jedi was in the Jedi Temple. I can't remember if it was on Tython. I think it was on Tython. And the Sith ship crashes into the Jedi Temple, and then the tail pops open, and a bunch of Sith start lighting up their lightsabers, and they jump off and start fighting in the temple. And it's literally the exact same as when the ship crashes on Asgard and the thing pops open and all the dark elves jump out. They literally just use that exact same thing. And I remember we went at BioWare, we all went to go watch that movie. The company paid for us to go see that movie. And we're all sitting in that theater and that scene happens and we're all like, what the fuck is this? Like, they just literally stole this from the thing that they gave us? I was like, oh man, that's messed up. We didn't make a stink on it though. I don't think so, at least. Maybe we did, but I didn't catch wind of it. I watched The Bad Guys on Netflix and loved it. All right, I'll have to make a note of that. Just have fun. The goats were funny, but after that third time they screamed, I was done. Yeah, I was kind of done with them after that first scream, honestly. Nope, I'm confusing it with something else then. But it was a game for sure. Yeah, Wolf Among Us is actually a pretty cool game. Cats are awesome. I concur. I have two that love to fight each other. Gotta head out to go to sleep. Have a good night, Devin. Hey, take it easy, H-Barts. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Good night, my friend. Heading to sleep. Congrats on the Bills win. Hey, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. That was tough. That was tough. There is nothing that tests your fandom like watching your team struggle against the Detroit Lions. That was, and the funny thing is, like, as we were like desperate to gain any ground on them offensively, I was watching and I was like, you know, these Lions, they have a really good defense. Like, they're like, none of our receivers seem to be capable of getting open on them. Like, they're beating us at the line of scrimmage. Like, they just seem to be a solid defense. And then the announcer was like, the 31st ranked defense of the Lions. And I was like, what? What? The 31st ranked defense in the league, and they're giving us fits like this? So it was a tough ordeal. It would have been a much worse Thanksgiving if we hadn't been able to pull it out at the last second. So thank you for that. And we play the Patriots on next Thursday. We're 0-2 in the division. In the entire division, everybody has at least 6 wins. So this is a hell of a division. If we came into this season, everybody talking about us like we were the Super Bowl favorites, but at this point, going into week 13, and every other team in our division has at least 6 wins, any one of those teams could be a Super Bowl favorite. Then at this point, we could just as easily end up losing the division outright as we could, you know, win it. So there's no telling what's going to happen. Got it. Werewolves Within was the movie. The title is similar. Werewolves Within. Well, let me see. Werewolves Within 2021. Okay. Werewolves Within is a 2021 American mystery comedy horror film directed by Josh Rubin from a screenplay by Mishna Wolf? Wait. Their last name is Wolf? Okay, so she's definitely an actual wolf. This is an actual wolf that managed to get a pen in her paw and is like, I'm gonna write a very pro-werewolf movie. Based on a video game of the same name. Oh, so it is a video game. Wow. That box art. This looks like a PC game from like the 90s. Came out 2016. Oh, it's a VR game. Okay. Social Deduction. Oh, so is this like an Among Us type game? The game is set in a medieval fantasy town that is being attacked by a werewolf, and the players are tasked to guess which of the townsfolk is the werewolf in disguise in a mafia-style format. Yeah, so it's basically like Among Us, but with a werewolf. Interesting, okay. It stars Sam Richardson, Milna Ventrube. I like her. George Basil, Sarah Burns, Michael Chernus. Okay. Wow. A lot. Kind of an ensemble cast. And follows a group of people in a small Vermont town who get trapped in a snowstorm, only to suspect one of them is a werewolf. That seems like it'd actually be a pretty fun movie to watch. 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, so people generally enjoy it. You know, I may have to check it out then. Thank you for the heads up on that. You sports. Fair enough. I know. If somebody gets me going on sports, I can talk sports. I don't know. Maybe Brian and I should do a football show. That's funny. So wait. So I can't play? I don't for VR. That sounds kind of scary. Not gonna lie. I mean, VR headsets. If it's on the Oculus Rift or something, one of the newer, cheaper ones, then you know it's at least a little bit more affordable. But VR games are pretty limited in what, well, most VR games are fairly limited in, you know, what you can do on them. This is 2016, so looks like maybe PlayStation VR. Yeah, PlayStation VR. HTC Vive, which is not cheap. HTC Vive is not cheap at all. Awesome, I have used one before. It is incredible. It is very cool. But it isn't cheap. Oculus Rift, they have a bunch of different Oculus type of headsets out now. Oh shit, you know what? I was talking with my parents about what they want for Christmas, and they never got with me on what they wanted for Christmas, but maybe they would like one of these VR headsets. They like gadgets, they like technology, and they like, you know, playing games, so maybe I'll find a VR headset for them, a nice cheap one. You know what? Let me check Twitch. Actually, I haven't checked my Twitch messages in a while. I used to have my multi-stream up so I could see both Twitch and YouTube as they came in, but that started breaking on me. So I have to have like the two separate windows now in order to see all the chats. Let's see. Good God, Walking Dead went on far longer than it needed. I was done with the goats before this even screamed. Wait, you were just the idea of a goat, and you're like, I'm out. Did somebody say goat? I'm out of here. Wait, why were you done with them before they even screamed? They were just goats at that point. I actually like goats. There's a farm not too far from me that has like a bunch of goats that you can go pet and feed, and they're really friendly guys. Their horizontal pupils are kind of weird, but you know, when you get past that, they're actually kind of lovable little creatures. I hear goat and become instinctively angry, unknowable beings of chaotic hatred. That makes me suspicious of you, man. Like, I am a goat ally. I am an LGBT ally, and the G stands for goat. So be careful around me. Heavy right and left characters played for comedy. The movie fooled me multiple times. I was like, oh, you're the werewolf. Wait, no, you are. Wait, is it you? Well, I mean, then the movie did its role. It did its job expertly. Got goat milk? No, I don't like goat milk. Not a big fan of goat cheese. I just like goats. I don't even really like goat meat. Like if there's like a goat curry or something somewhere, I won't get it. Not a big fan of goat meat, but I just like goats. I wrestled a goat once. You see, now I'm starting to get your origin story. You wrestled a goat. Let me guess. You were on the losing end of this one. Is that what happened? Is that why you can never forgive a goat? Let's see. Running up on 11 here. I am going to save these other stories then for next week, when Justin can come on. Also, I just want to note, The Verge changed its website, and my God, is it fucking ugly. It is unnavigable. This is just an absolute mess. Look at this. This is gross as shit. Like, why did they decide to do it like this? Like, I guess it's more manageable if you're not in full screen, but oops. If you are in full screen, then it is just a hodgepodge of weird boxes and blocks of text. Like, they scroll at different rates too. Like, the left side scrolls like you would expect it, but the right side looks like it gets hung up every now and then. This is just an absolute mess of web design. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this. And it starts off weird too. Like, they have this, and I don't like the fonts that they're using. Like, sometimes I understand the idea behind mixing serifs and sans serifs, but to me, in this application, it looks like a CSS error is occurring on the page. I'm sorry, I'm getting very technical. I'm getting, like, the graphic design major in me is coming out, and like I'm voicing my opinions on these. It doesn't really matter. All that matters are the stories that they're popping up. But this whole story stream thing, I'm not a fan of it. Not a fan of it. And all of these little boxes on the side, not a fan of it. The text is on the side, but also in like this big bulky thing that makes it kind of hard to immediately read. You kind of have to tilt your head to like get what it's saying. Just thumbs down across the board on this redesign. It's fucking horrible. Absolutely horrible. No, I won. The goat was asleep, and I thought the goat was asleep. What? And it was less wrestling and more my trying to get the damn thing to move off the gate. Oh, okay, I see. Jesus fuck, what is that layout of the site? Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I logged onto this just to see if there were any interesting stories that I might be able to look at. And no, this is not the way. Like, there probably are some neat stories on here somewhere. It would require me actually having to delve through this mess of hierarchy to figure out what it is they want. Like, this top stories thing is the only thing that I can see as like, oh, they're trying to like deliver information to me as far as like what they think I should be interested in looking at from a hierarchical standpoint. Like, 1, Elon Musk says Twitter will begin manually authenticating blue, gray, and gold accounts. Okay, that's 1. 2, Peloton row review. The price isn't right. Oh, there's a Peloton rowing machine? Gross. 3, hello traveler, have you heard about TikTok doubloons? Okay, once you get past that though, then fucking it's a hodgepodge of God knows what's going on. And sometimes they have stuff like this, like, what is this? Paying $8 a month for Twitter seems like a bad deal, unless you're someone who absolutely needs to appear in the mentions of an official Twitter user. But even then, you really need to have something useful to say. You really need to have something useful to say. A one-time troll isn't... I'm sorry. You need to have something useful to say. A one-time troll isn't going to give you much value. Elon Musk still hasn't articulated why paying for Twitter will bring the average person value, and at $8 a month, he's competing with streaming services that offer much more than a cosmetic blue check mark. Okay. Interesting little aside, but why is this block of text? Why is this editorial about $8 a month not being worth it standing on the middle of this stream of headlines? All that exists are headlines that you click on, and then there's this big block of text where there's just some dude ranting, and then it goes back to the headlines. Oh wait, here's another block of text. I don't understand what this is supposed to be. Like, why did they make this decision? It's fucking horrible. Please teach me, Yul Nerdcast-sama. Well, if you want to be a graphic designer, like, number one, understand the hierarchy of information that you're trying to communicate to people. Like, there is a design aesthetic that helps guide users' eyes towards the things you want to present as being important pieces of information on a page. And as your eyes go there, like right here, the first thing that you see is this image. This is number one on the hierarchy of information. But because it's not evenly displayed on the screen, in order to get the full block of information, you have to scroll to get the rest of it. And once you start scrolling, then it breaks all the other information that it's trying to visually tell you right away. Like, this box, this little line, should it scroll or should it stay omnipresent and everything beneath it scroll? And that just stays as like a top line. Once it scrolls, and then you have this other information up here. So top stories. Why is this top stories on the side over here when the top story should be this? Isn't this the top story? This is the first thing that my eyes are drawn to when I load the page. So this tells me that this is the top story, not this. If this was the top story, if it was important enough to be the top story, it would be the big image right here. So automatically, this image, it delegitifies the importance of all of these top stories on the side. So I don't even pay attention to it. In fact, it almost looks like shitty ads. Like when you go to some weird website and they have like those weird looking ads on the side that you don't click on because you think you'll get like malware if you do. That's kind of what this looks like to me. Like, it translates as not being important on the hierarchy. And because of the way it's laid out, it just looks like it may be like a suspicious ad. Like, I might get malware if I click on it. And then when you scroll down, you have the same problem. Like, okay, these things are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So does that mean that this is the important stuff, or is this the important stuff? Because this says story stream. What does that mean? I'm guessing it means that this is the most up-to-date information that it's giving you. An hour ago, 2 hours ago. Whereas this is November 23rd, 25th, 24th. It's like, okay, so this is just popularity and this is like your current stuff, right? Why are they being displayed to you side by side? Visually, you would assume equal importance, or maybe this is more important because this has the little color next to it. But it's the same text. It's the same text size, or just about. And when you try to scroll, this stays present, but this moves, which makes me think, oh, this is the important side because this is the side that's moving. Like, okay, so this is where my news is. So I guess this is what I'm supposed to be paying attention to, the story stream, until you get here. And then this starts to move. It's like, what is going on? This is such a fucked site. Like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm sorry. I went on a very extended rant about this web page, and it's probably all meaningless anyways. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like, oh, I like this web page. I think it looks cool. I mean, clearly somebody approved it. Like, people at The Verge think it looks cool. Also, that Death Battle show from Rooster Teeth, they did an episode about who'd win between Sauron from Middle-earth and the Lich King from Warcraft. Like, Sauron would win. This isn't even a hard question. The Lich King got killed by 20 random assholes who broke into his house, and half of Sauron's powers are metaphorical. Yeah, like, well, maybe not, but I would imagine that Sauron is probably like he's almost like a lord of he's like a lord of the Lich Kings. Like, he has basically a Lich army under his control. Like, what were those wraiths if not, a type of Lich themselves? So that's kind of a weird matchup. Like, yeah, Sauron would definitely win. Wouldn't come close. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on Tactics Ogre because I've been thinking about this game all day. Been thinking about Tactics Ogre all day long. Thank you, Nerdcast Sama. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I always enjoy ranting about graphic design. especially since I actively decided not to pursue it as a career. The nanosecond, the nanosecond after I got my degree, I was like, all right, finally finished the degree program for graphic design. I am never, ever going to use this ever. I'm going to go do something totally unrelated. All right. Call of Duty. Oh, RPG. Yes, yes. Tactics Ogre is a strategy RPG developed by Square Enix. I almost said Squaresoft. That's dating myself there.
Tactics Ogre.
Tactics Ogre. Exactly. Pitting the Lich against Sauron would be like expecting Talion to actually win in Shadow of War. Okay, well, that sounds like a spoiler alert because I never played Shadow of War, but I'm okay with it because I don't ever anticipate playing Shadow of War. But it sounds like he doesn't win. Let's see. I think I'm good to go. Actually, let me check on my party. Why does she have an what? She has an exclamation point next to her. What does that mean? I don't. I don't know why she has that exclamation point next to her head. Hey, you're still on. Yeah. I mean, I usually do like 3 or 4 hour streams, so I'm gonna be on for a little while, I imagine. Nice. I'm terrible at them because I'm always on the offensive. Well, that's the best place to be, on the offensive. Who's Devin? What do you mean? What do you mean? Who's Devin? Hi. That would be me. I would be Devin. Let me look at my wizard. I don't think I have any other spells. Oh, wait. Vulcan Lance. What the fuck is Vulcan Lance? Yeah, equip that bad boy. I wonder what that exclamation point means. I have 2 characters with them. Is this a job thing? Berserker. Incidentally, I've been thinking about how weird some writers for fantasy stuff get when they want the gods themselves to be the antagonist. I mean, that's every Japanese RPG. Especially in Elder Scrolls, and especially in the mods for those games. One of the good mods for Skyrim literally has a part where you meet some forgotten god, and the boss fight is he sends some reskinned enemies after you, and you kill them, and he just fucking shows up on his knees begging you not to kill him. I'm sorry, I thought this was a god. You know, those things that you that can kill you by just igniting the fucking air in your lungs, and your blood. Yeah, that's a weird way to handle that, but you know, if you spend any amount of time playing Japanese RPGs, then like, you know, a god or just simply God being the antagonist is a very common thing. I don't know of any if you actually ever fight God. You fight deviations of it, but you know, that's a whole other can of worms. I'm sure a very interesting video essay could be done about the themes of stories from RPGs in the 32-bit era. They got very philosophical. RPG stories got very philosophical and very bleak in the 32-bit era. It may have started with Final Fantasy VII, but I think it may have peaked with like Xenogears. No level up, new clothes, items. Let me see. I mean, I was trying to check all of these. I mean, I'm looking for anywhere on this screen that an exclamation point might exist, but I don't see one on here. I looked at character class. I don't know. I mean, they level up automatically at the end of battle. Should have had that on her to begin with. Devin, will you still be around on the 7th? Have you made plans with the HEB Center personnel? I do still plan on being around. I have to actually, I have to reach back out to my friends and see if they can get me tickets. I mean, I've seen AEW literally every time they've come to Austin. Like, I've seen them like three times now. Usually it's no big deal for me to get those tickets and see. But I think this one time, my friends are actually not going to be a part of this tour, but they still can get me, they could still get me guest passes on it. I just need to reach out to them and you know, see if they can actually get that for me in time. But regardless of whether I'm at the event or not, we should definitely hang out when you're in town. It would be cool to see AEW again. It's always fun up there. Like the HEB Center, it's a very it's a very cozy center. It's a very cozy arena in that, you know, it's not super big. It's usually host to a minor league hockey team. So it's not like you're just going to be, it's not like a rambling arena or anything like that. And a lot of the times they do, like, you know, they'll have their fights go backstage or go into like the concession area and stuff. I think one of the first shows that I went and saw at AEW was something like that. And, you know, I'm just sitting in line waiting to get a hot dog, and like two of the performers come out and are like smacking each other, you know, right next to me. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. You know, I didn't know who those dudes were at the time, but, you know, it was still cool to get that up close and personal. I don't think that, you know, you have an opportunity to experience that with like bigger productions like WWE or anything like that. So, you know, it was cool to see. 32-bit era has one of the most expensive RPGs. I didn't know they have been down there that much. Wait, which RPG are you talking about? Oh yeah, most def. I want to go to Dragon's Lair too. Yeah, Dragon's Lair is always dope. I haven't been in a while, but for certain, we can definitely hang out there. Perkisaurus, yo, what's up? I'm pretty sure Chapek is the fall guy for years of mismanagement. Huh. You think Chapek is the fall guy for years of mismanagement? Well, I mean, how when you say years of mismanagement, how many years are you talking about here? Because I do think that managing Disney during the COVID years presented a huge amount of trials and obstacles, because Disney isn't just making movies, they're largely running theme parks. And when you got to shut down theme parks for periods of time, or drastically reduce the amount of people that are coming into your parks, or if the number of people that coming into your parks are automatically or artificially reduced by, virtue of a pandemic, that can cause some problems. So, I don't know if the mismanagement is a function of the pandemic, or if you're thinking that there was mismanagement going on long before the pandemic. I don't know. Bob Iger hasn't been away from the CEO role for that long. Like, he only stepped down in 2019, maybe early 2020, I think. So unless that mismanagement hit hard and fast, I would have to say, and if it did, then that also sounds like Bob Chapek. If you know something I don't know, by all means, do share. Means your inventory is almost out, and you may not have enough to replenish your characters. Oh, is that what that means? I don't get it. Wait, my inventory's almost out. I've only got one empty. I don't even know what that means. Replenish my characters. Suikoden 2. Wait, are you saying Suikoden 2 is one of the most expensive Oh, wait. Expensive RPGs to purchase. I thought you meant expensive RPGs to buy, or that were developed, like the cost of production. I got you. Yes, Suikoden 2, incredibly expensive if you're trying to find that disc. I'm very happy to say that I still have my original Suikoden 2 disc. But they're also re-releasing Suikoden 1 and 2 remastered on Steam in addition to other consoles in 2023. So if you've been gated from experiencing Suikoden 2 because of the cost of the discs on eBay, hold fast. It'll be on Steam soon enough, and you'll be able to experience both of those games. Something about an open bug. Oh, okay. Well, shit. I'll just ignore it then. Basically, the game does an auto top up after each battle. If your inventory doesn't have enough to replenish your characters, there's a little open bag and exclamation mark. What does that mean, replenish your characters? Japanese RPGs do that a lot too, yeah. Half of the time they build up how unknowingly powerful these beings are, and it's like, I'm a dude with a fucking sword. How the fuck did I win that? Yeah, exactly. It's like some farmer, some child farmer that ends up like casting some crazy ass spell that kills God at the end of like a 2-week adventure. There's a lot of fantasy fans who argue that games where God is the villain aren't inherently in favor of the death of religion, and I'm like, dude, how? The death of the very God of the world itself frees humanity to choose its own destiny. How is this not a metaphor for atheism? I often think about the fact that these massive corporations could even need a fall guy. Like, they could just say, yes, these problems that happen are our faults. Anyways, we own literally everything here, so we're here to stay. Yeah, I mean, it's just that they have a board of directors that they answer to. And ultimately, again, like, if the board likes you, then you're fine. If the board doesn't like you, then they'll kick your ass out. And I'm guessing Chapek made a lot of enemies, at his time in Disney, and whatever excuse they needed to kick him out, they used it to kick him out. But yeah, you reminded me actually when you were talking about that whole, the death of God frees the world, frees humanity to choose its own destiny. You reminded me of Guardian Heroes. Guardian Heroes, that's literally the message of that game, is to destroy God and give humanity free will. which, you know, again, there could be a whole fascinating video essay about the bleak anti-religious nature of, well, bleak depending on your worldview, anti-religious nature of like JRPGs from the 32-bit era. Health-wise, maybe? I think it means the item you have placed in the item list has run out of stock in your inventory. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Oh, okay, I see. So I ran out of these mend leaves. And I ran out of the mend leaf. Okay, so I don't have any more mend leaves. That's what that's all about. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Maybe if I go to the shop, go to buy. It says 18. What does that mean? Equip and stock. Okay. Actually, I'm going to buy more of those. Items auto restocked. There we go. Hey, look at that. I don't get it. Oh, I wonder then. Wait a second. I think I know what this means now. So if I use a mend leaf, it consumes the item but doesn't remove it from my inventory. And then that way at the end of a battle, whatever exists in my main inventory will auto-fill into this empty slot. Okay, that's weird. That's a weird way to do that. But I guess that's easy. So if I have like a huge party, I don't have to go one by one refilling everybody's inventory up after each battle. It'll just automatically. Okay, I get that. I get that. Yeah, that's actually a clever way of micromanaging each and every one of my guys' personal inventories. Cool. Well, awesome. Thank you for looking that up for me. I appreciate that. I'm off to bed now. Night, everyone. Thanks. Good night. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for subbing to me. Have a good night and hope to see you on the stream when I stream again, probably tomorrow. I often think about these. Okay, yeah. In that story I mention a lot, one of the protagonists starts out as like a stereotypical Viking warlord and progresses to becoming more humble, but being someone whose entire childhood experience was kill everything that looks at you funny, they learn all the wrong lessons and conclude that to save humanity they must hunt down and kill all gods, and they nearly trigger a fourth apocalyptic event from the sheer amount of divine bloodshed. Not sure I'll go that route with them, but you know. That's a very Gore the God Killer. Wait, where's my controller not working? There we go. Gore the God Killer turn on that character. Alright, let's just get to the next battle here. Obtain a buff card. I mean, I could do both of those things. Oh, I gotta take two. I gotta take one guy out. Who am I removing? Probably one of these archers. I'm gonna remove Rainier. Ah. It's all a matter of time before
Great Father,
the bot showed up.
Seen such an undead throng. That necromancer uses men's souls for sport.
Do people even fall for these bots? I mean, they wouldn't still be running them if somebody wasn't falling for it somewhere. There's somebody out there that's clicking on them.
Sleep, souls. Embrace the waiting everworld.
Nothing happens.
Impossible! My exorcism has failed! Perhaps the corpses must be still before the soul can be put to rest. I've forgotten much in the quarter century that's passed since I last faced the undead. But listen to me, making excuses. Wait for me, Leonard. All I need do is hold out till reinforcements arrive.
Okay, I guess he's talking about me.
There, our liberators! Great Father, smile upon us this day.
Perhaps he merely bares his teeth at you, old man. The sleep has already taken your friends.
What's her name? Moldova? Necroprentice? Okay.
And no common sleep. They descend the sepulchral stairs toward death.
They descend the sepulchral stairs towards death.
When they wake, it will be as unliving horrors.
Man, what a shit talker.
Until Master Nybeth's return. Give them not an inch, and show them no quarter.
Vanquish Moldova. What is Moldova? They're just trying to exist peacefully over there. There's no need for us to vanquish Moldova. They've got enough things to worry about. Alright, so I'm fighting a bunch of ghosts. Oh, I hope I don't have to save this guy. If they're just gonna fucking tee off on him until I get there. Hold on a second. Gonna juice the music, juice the volume a little bit. Alright, whose turn is it? Your turn? I can't move anywhere with these guys. Like, I have such little range of movement with them. I can't go anywhere. Actually, she's the one that needs to stay back the most. They're moving in on him. Oh shit, he turned his back to Vice. Let's fuck him up. Let's fuck him up. Wait, who are you? Alvin? Oh, I'm sorry, Albin. Not Alvin, Albin. Oh shit, okay, missed, good. Where are you at? I don't think maybe I can hit him from here. I think I should be able to. Yeah, just barely able to hit him. Doink. Oh, missed! Bullshit. Alright, at least that guy can heal up. Let's see what this Vulcan lance looks like. Wait, what? Why does it have the X? A missile spell that sends forth a jagged piece of igneous rock dealing piercing earth damage to a single target has a chance to inflict earth averse. Okay. But why is it giving me X's whenever I try to... Oh, I know why. It's because... Wait, I don't get it. Lame. How about this one then? I still can't cast? Alright, hold on a second. What about this guy over here? I'll aim for that guy. I'll take it. One thing that tends to get me about mainstream fantasy is that they never really tap into the fact that the real world religion a lot of these worlds are based on get weird as fuck all the time. Just Google any random story about whatever the fuck Zeus was getting up to when he went out looking for trouble. Yeah, I mean, they don't build out the lore in these in-game religions as deeply as, you know, any real religion is, obviously, but I feel like that would in a game that's probably trying to focus you on the story that they're trying to tell, that sort of thing might serve as a bit of a distraction. Like Zeus is wait, what? Is it because it's a ghost? What's happening here? I can't attack this fucking thing. Oh, the perspective. The perspective was fucking me. I was trying to hit. I was right here and I was like, why can't I target him? But he's right there. Oh, I could change the camera. Well, shit. Alright, well, at least I figured that out. That's just gonna hit my boy. Oh shit. I gotta watch out for these guys coming up the middle. Alright, Albin. I'm sending you up the middle for support. Oh shit. Oh, you took my MP. I was gonna give that to the wizard. Nobody needs to be healed. Just chill out. Oh, got Vice with a word of pain. All right. Oh, interesting. Casting heal on those guys hurts them. Okay, I mean, I guess that should have been... Damn, wrecked him. There are all sorts of these cards around, but... Ice adverse. Still not in range of anything. What's up, Galby? How you doing? Oh, you jumped up here. You didn't have to. I wasn't summoning you, you know. Or are you just saying hi? You can just say hi, too. I'm playing this game right now. Say hi to everyone. Say hi. There you go. You waved at everybody. You waking up from your nap? Okay. Alright, wizard. Land on that guy. Excellent. Oh wait, he's gonna revive in 3 turns? Oh, I need that other dude then. I need that other dude, that priest, to deal with him, to exorcise him. Throw a rock at this guy. I just don't want to pick up that. Oh, he got, what was that? Critical? Oh no. That's not that big of a deal. Dean waved at you. He waved at you. You're just gonna sit here and chill? Okay, you can do that too. Just so long as you're not moving around causing trouble. Hey, wait, don't do that. All right, we're gonna bottleneck them. We're gonna bottleneck them right here. Oh, shit. Everybody, oh, I could, can I get this guy? No, I can't. He's protected. Everyone that, I put you on the fucking roof for a reason, and you're still goddamn worthless up here. Jesus, God, if I could just lure this guy out. It's not gonna hit. Damn it. Oh, that skeleton turned into a bag. Okay, cool. I see what that means then. Man, what do these guys have against Vice? Hey, ow, 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 ow. Okay, that's enough, that's enough. I can't find the specific emperor since Rome decided it'd be a super cool idea to have basically every emperor have have the same damn name, but an emperor was winning in a campaign against some forest kingdom when he died of illnesses cause the plague. His son became the emperor, and despite the fact everyone was telling him, "My emperor, please, we've almost wiped out these people and they'd be gone forever," the new emperor went, "No, fuck the swamp, I want to go home now," and just ended the entire campaign. Are you talking about Commodus? I feel like you're talking about Commodus. Let me see. No, I don't think you're talking about Commodus. I know what you're talking about. I also can't remember that emperor's name. Oh, it is Commodus. So you're okay. You're talking about Commodus. Yeah, Commodus was a psycho. He was an absolute maniac. Also, hey, don't look at me like that. Hey, you know what? You could sit on my lap if you don't take your claws out. Okay? It's fine. Hey, it's fine if you don't claw me up. I'll even put you up here myself. See, it's fine if you don't claw me up. Once you start clawing my legs up, then I gotta put you down. Simple as that. Simple as that. I don't know why you want to mash your head up against my desk anyways. What do you do? You know what? I don't trust you. You're clumsy. You're too... Okay, there you go. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Clumsy cats are the worst. Clumsy cats are the worst. She jumps on my legs and she wants to just sit in my lap, but then she'll always just fall, just randomly fall. And then once she randomly falls, she starts desperately trying to not fall, which means like digging her claws right into my leg. So like I have to be very careful about letting her just chill. And she's restless, so she can't just sit on my lap and like chill. She has to constantly move around, which only increases the likelihood that she's gonna get clumsy and fall off my leg. You're a hassle, Galby. You're a hassle. You're a hassle, you little calico. Commodus is an interesting guy. I mean, he's an incompetent fail son for certain, but... She hit and ran. Oh shit, what the fuck? Okay, heal that guy immediately. Nice, nice shot. Oh, I can't reach him. Using heal as a weapon. Don't you move. Okay, good. Good, he can heal himself. They fucking hate Vice, man. Oh, he blocked that one. Emperor Vespasian, while dying, had his servants help him back to his feet, saying an emperor should die standing, and on his last words were, "Oh dear, I think I'm becoming a god." Like, that's fucking metal. Yeah, and then he left the empire to an absolute lunatic of a son. Oops, no, don't do that, don't do that. There is a show on Netflix, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. There's a Netflix show. God, what's it called? Hold on, let me look it up. Yeah, it's my favorite part about the 5 good emperors is that the only reason the empire had good emperors was because none of them were able to get a proper blood heir and decided, yeah, fuck it, who's my best general politician? Yeah, you, hey, you're my son now. Here's the empire, blah, and then died. The show is called Roman Empire. They had three seasons. It's on Netflix. It's called Roman Empire. The first one was over Commodus. The second one was Caesar, and the third one was Caligula. But if you hadn't watched that, definitely watch it. It's kind of like a docudrama, but it's done really well. The Commodus one is interesting. I mean, they're all good, but the Commodus one was interesting because I knew a little bit about Caesar, and I knew a little bit about Caligula, but I just didn't know that much about Commodus until watching that. And it was pretty cool, pretty well done. I'll give that show a look when I have the chance. I like it. It's a good one. Finish this guy off already. Eh. Leather armor. Get him. That's not as strong as I would have liked it to be. Oh shit, Vice is about to drop. Oh, he is.
I'm out, and I'd better not hear any grumbling.
Damn. I really want to make a show like horrible history centered entirely around the Roman Empire, and when we get to the Christian Empire, there's a running gag where the ghost of Jesus is in the background shouting, I never said that's okay. If you give yourself to the church and dedicate a year to prayer, you shall be forgiven for ordering the massacre of that entire city. No, he fucking won't. I never said you can just get forgiven for that. Where are you people getting this? I mean, yeah. That's religion for you. That's the Crusades. Excellent job. Wrecked him. Wrecked him on the counter. Hey, you turned that guy into a bag of money. Oh man. Halt hammer and 13 okay, we need to wipe that guy out so we can take his stuff. Oh, she needs to be healed.
Where is Master Nybeth? What is keeping him?
Jesus tells Judas he forgives him for selling him out, but ask how much he got. When Judas tells him it was for 30 silver, Jesus is just cackling like, Judas, that is enough. Oh my dad, that is enough for a house and a week of lunch. Guys, get over here. Holy crap, that is amazing. You didn't even try to haggle. Wait. Is 30 silver a lot or not enough in this occurrence? I'm not familiar with the exchange rate there. Go ahead and get the bag. Lightning bow. These two are just hacking into whoever stands on this little square. 30 silver is a lot, but that's like not nearly enough to sell out the guy who you've been following your whole life. Well, yeah, I mean, I get that part. But I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. Who am I to judge? Oh shit, I didn't even, oh god damn. I didn't even recognize that she was there. Alright, so we gotta deal with her then. Oh, he dodged. Oops. Rainbow shot. Doink. Oh, got him. Stuck him good. Wrecked. Wrecked. Is this guy going to exercise anybody else? Yes, he is. All right, get that bag. Hand axe, that's it. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. The Necromancer Apprentice is moving. Let's get ready for this woman. Now would be a good time to use that critical on this guy. Oh my god, I just googled it to be sure. It's the equivalent of 300 bucks? Wait, what? 30 silver back then is 300 bucks now? That's a terrible exchange rate, man. Like even like 300 bucks in like the 1800s is like $20,000 by today's standards. That must have been some shitty quality silver. Not even 1K. Holy crap, Judas, you could have gotten so much more. Man, he did some terrible negotiation. Devin, holy shit. He wouldn't even have been able to buy a nice farm with that. Farm? He would have been able to buy like a fucking cow. Like a single cow. One of the stories says he bought a field and then exploded for no reason. But that wouldn't even get him that. He'd at most be able to just say a few square feet of someone else's field is his now. Yeah, like a plot of land on somebody else's land that he can just grow some turnips on. It's probably the most he could hope for 300 bucks. At most, 30 silver was the equivalent of 4 months low-paying labor. He'd be able to not work for just 4 months with that. Incredible. Oh man, well, you know what? People were getting fucked back then with those deals too, so I guess not terribly surprising, but that is funny. Oops. That is funny though. 30 silver is just 300 bucks. You're gonna sell out the Son of God for $300. I mean, he could have had a really, really nice night out at a sushi restaurant for 300 bucks. Like, go, find a girl he's been interested in, or guy, whatever, whichever way he may go. Find a nice sushi restaurant. Impress her by dropping 3 bills on like a big spread of the most amazing sushi you've ever had. And then, live with betraying your best friend, one of your best friends, and a disciple of who you've been a disciple of for the rest of your life. Help us arrest the man you've been following your entire life, and we'll pay for your dinner. That's basically what that is. Like, we'll just pay for a nice dinner. It'll be a nice dinner. We're not just gonna pay for any old random dinner. You're not gonna go to like Sizzler or something. We're gonna take you to a nice steakhouse. How about this? You give us the goods on this Jesus guy, we're gonna take you to a really, really nice steakhouse. Maybe a Ruth Chris, maybe a Sullivan's. It'll be a good one. It'll be a good one. And we're not even really gonna give you too tight a limit. Like, there'll be a limit, but it isn't gonna be too restrictive. Like, you'll be able to get like a really good steak and a really good lobster with it. You know, it'll be a good one. Oh man, when you put it like that, it really makes it seem like Judas is the one that got fucked on that one. Not so much Jesus. Jesus just got stuck in his ribs and then he popped up the next day or so. Well, 3 days, I guess, if I want to be technical about it. You know, he still got to just, you know, pop up and go about his business, but Judas, he got real fucked on that one. Hurry up and kill this guy. I want all enemies off the board by the time this Necro woman shows up. Why is he so weak to arrows? There's a super controversial story that said Jesus told Judas to do this, and that Judas was the only oh shit, what the fuck? And that Judas was the only disciple to know the full plan, but like, this is the only way I could accept him accepting so little cash in this. Like, just going, yeah, give me whatever, I don't care. What will come has already been decided. Like, outside of them pretty much saying, we're literally going to murder you if you don't agree to it. This money is just to be nice. Judas being in on Jesus' resurrection is the only thing that actually makes sense. Oh, no. I mean, he could have just been very broke, too. Like, maybe he was that broke. Maybe rent was due. It was first of the month. Got him. Linen slops. Don't do anything wild, woman. Don't do anything wild. Okay, good. Actually, that's exactly what you should have done. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Are you gonna get a little closer? Nope, she backed up a bit. That's gonna make things a little bit of a hassle. Damn, she's just out of range. Oh man, right behind the... I need this guy to move forward, not backwards. Oh, that's my guy. Go forth, Albin. You gotta be the advance on this one. Oh man, there's some lightning and thunder going on out there. Oh, she's just gonna run away while sapping away life force. Oh shit. This wizard needs to learn how to fucking move his ass. Alright, that'll give me a little bit more cushion. I gotta get up on her. She's gonna keep running away and doing life force. I forgot that they can move in water. Albin, you're so damn close. Oh shit! What the fuck? How'd you end up hitting him? God damn it. Well, he's right up he's right up on her now. How were you only able to move like 2 feet? Come on, guys. He's fine. I don't need to use that on him. Oh, man, she just keeps fucking running away. Guys, you gotta fucking crowd her already. Stop moving so fucking slow. Three feet at a time is not gonna cut this shit. Fucking get her. There we go. Oh, yeah! Fucking wrecked!
Master Nybeth, even in death would I have served you.
Congratulations. Spoils. Sleep. 1 sleep, 15 bronze oberith, 1 blessing stone. Any level ups? Caution. Oh, there's some level ups. The excess experience points from this action, what? Will be transformed into a charm. Experience. Well, I don't even know what the fuck that means.
My thanks to you, Denham. You saved my life. And my apologies to you, Abuna. Such is our reward for striking blind. Already I've lost too many of the Duke's men. I know not how I shall face him.
I know not how I shall
I'm
face him.
thankful that you, at least, still live. The Great Father favors us.
As he is surely displeased by the trespasses of this Nybeth, the sorcerer of the foulest sort.
Yes, Nybeth.
Nybeth.
Lies hidden in a rotting fastness beyond the town.
He may have just been broke. Being united under the kingdom of God is neat and all, but is God gonna be there when it's time to pay for groceries? That's what I'm saying, man. Like, we're living in these inflation times right now. It's like times are hard, man. You do what you gotta in order to be able to keep a roof over your head.
Odd. With his men left at Almorica, I'd have thought him bound for Caritini. What could he be scheming?
I want his head, whatever it may be plotting. I will not return to the Duke empty-handed.
You mean to take the fastness with these numbers? Should we not withdraw and regroup?
Were it only myself and the remnants of my men, I would find retreat more palatable. But do not forget our new allies.
I have not. Yet be mindful of the Galgastani threat. Why, they might attack Almorica at any moment.
Hi. What's up? Okay, you know what? Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll get to a stopping point in this, then I'll come hang out with you, okay? Okay. Give me 1 second.
As I see
Oh,
it,
you
would
couldn't
not
even
have the
give me a
luxury of
second.
Choice were it not for the
You
heroes
couldn't even
of
give me a
Donington.
second.
Yes, yes, of course. Advance or retreat. The decision is rightfully Denham's.
Voltaire, Sarah, I know you'll not object.
Then it's settled. We are yours to command.
I'm gonna need this hand, you know. Donalto wants to join the party. Sure. Donalto has joined the Order of Betrayers. Sarah wants to join the party. Really? You're gonna step right on? Alright. Well, you just opened up several apps on my phone. You have your own water. This is my water. Please don't step on that. Okay, there you go. You got to explore the desktop a little bit. Okay, you happy? Feeling better? What, did you think I'm like stashing treats up here for you? If you give me a second, I'll go hang out with you, okay? We'll go watch a movie or something. All right? Okay. Voltaire, what are you? He's a knight? Cool. I'll accept the knight. Damn it. Why does it give me that error? I really don't get what's going on there. No, don't load. I'm pretty sure that save works, but I... Drawful too, what the fuck is that? Okay, that did something. Exit the game, and then I'm gonna relaunch it just to make sure that save did work, because those save errors give me a lot of anxiety. This cat is sleeping in literally in my hand, making it very difficult for me to do this. Sometimes I think about how Elder Scrolls games go through the effort of designing a time system, but actual holidays play zero role in anything. Like in Rome, there was a legit holiday every other day.
Tactics ogre.
Okay, cool. That did work. Anyway. Like in Rome, there was a legit holiday every other day. Half the entire year was, well, it's a holiday, I can't work now. We need to just get drunk and eat food. Unless you were a peasant, of course. Some of the holidays in Daggerfall meant something. Like every now and then you would go to a town where they were celebrating a holiday, and there would be like there would either be discounts at a store, or a store would just be closed. You wouldn't be able to shop at those stores. So, you know, I guess, I don't know. I haven't encountered a meaningful holiday in Oblivion. I don't recall any in Skyrim, but I guess in Daggerfall at least there were some. Get down. I'll be down in a second. Meanwhile, in Elder Scrolls, they have like that one holiday that's sort of Christmas or something confusing. I don't remember that one. Welcome to the Order of Betrayers, Donalto. The Order of what? I did not know Daggerfall did that, but I wish they did that more. Yeah, like you would walk into a town in Daggerfall and there'd be a big text block, that's the text blob that's like, the holiday of whatever is going on right now, and that means that these stores are closed, or these stores don't offer this, or they do offer that. I can't quite remember the details, but you know, that game at least made its holidays meaningful, so there is that. But I'm gonna go hang out with my cat now. She's getting antsy. Admittedly so, she hasn't seen a whole lot of me these past week or so. So I owe them some hanging out time. So thank you for joining me once again. Good stream, good job. Thank you very much, Toaster. A pleasure as always. And for everybody else that joined, Bianca and Dean and RJ and H-Barts, all you guys, thanks for stopping by. Brian, I appreciate you guys coming through and looking at me while I ramble my way through some news items. Gotta be coming on the stream again tomorrow, I believe. Probably another later stream. Maybe I'll probably do a Tactics Ogre again. Doubt I'll be talking about any news items. I'm gonna save that for when Justin's here on Tuesday, but you know, you never know. Maybe something will pop up. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. I will see you guys tomorrow. Later.